Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome to a fun game. A game with a lot of, well, just stick around. You're going to find out. We've got a crazy 1v1 here that happened just today in the Hidden Cup 5 qualifiers. Hidden Cup 5 coming February 25th through March 3rd. Better get used to me bringing it up a lot. Biggest event I'll ever run. Basically, the way it works is the best players in the world will play. They're on hero names. They're playing as historical figures. They don't know who they're playing. And then, of course, we and I do not know who is who. It's really fun stuff. Lots of information is going to come on that, but we're going to talk about this game now as these players are trying to qualify. And the qualifier is going for the next like 2.5, 3 weeks to determine, who gets in. We've got Samaro. Obviously, goes without saying, these are all high-level players, right? We've got Samaro here in the blue, and Samaro has played quite a few events over the last year or two. He comes into this one as the underdog against Dark, who's a player who's had a really strong year and is a very young player. I think he's like 18 now. And at this point in the series, it was a best of 3. Dark was up 1-0. So Dark was the favorite. Dark is playing as the Japanese. The map here is Cross. And you may remember Cross, or you may recognize Cross as Four Lakes. Well, Cross is a map that the community had kind of came up with. I'm sure it was attributed to one particular person years and years and years ago, probably like 10 years ago. And then I guess when DE came out, the devs were like, well, Cross doesn't really make a lot of sense. Or maybe they didn't want to like steal the name. They just named it Four Lakes, which of course makes sense. So you've got, funnily enough, what I would consider to be 4 ponds, not 4 lakes at all. And those 4 ponds, there's lots of fish. And it's very important to fight over that fish for resources. Now, what becomes very tricky is that on top of the fish, you then have a very open land map. So this is a map that is very difficult to play. And there's a lot of skill elements to it, right? Lots of multitasking needed. Now, I've got big trees for this because if I go small trees, all these trees are pine trees. And it just doesn't look natural. So my apologies for any of you people who want the small trees. I would never play with big trees, personally. But I love to cast with the bigger trees, honestly. It looks a whole lot more realistic. But if you're trying to see and micro this, it becomes quite a nightmare without the small tree mod. So again, you've got 4 areas to dock, right? We're going to see Samaro head this way. And Samaro is the Byzantines. Now, the Byzantines have the strongest fire ships in the game. And this map is a fire ship map. Galleys is something you'll see on more expansive water maps, like Islands, for example, which is in this map pool. There, the ships travel long distances. Here, not so much. So the goal for any Byzantine player should be to try and find where the opponent is and dock them. And there is a very creative method that we're going to see in this game from one of the players to try and prevent the opponent from docking. I cannot wait to show this to you. At the time of recording, I'm not sure if the title and the thumbnail is going to be based on the thing that we see a lot of, which I kind of alluded to at the start, or if it's going to be this prevention method, let's say, of the docking. Okay? Now, Byzantines don't have any savings, guys, on their, when it comes to, like, sorry. Let's back up. Byzantines have a ton of savings, actually, on their skirmishers and their pikemen and their camels. But beyond that, on their buildings, which is a word that somehow escaped me. They don't have savings there. Whereas the Japanese are king in that regard. The cheap lumber camps, mining camps, and mills really helps them. So Japanese are more flexible. Also, with great infantry and all that savings, it normally feels pretty realistic for them to go for some aggressive plays in early feudal. But we have Dark, who won the first game in this best of 3. He's over here on the left-hand side. And he's got going up to his 4th fishing ship. And then you've got Samaro. And Samaro, I mean, he pushed so much deer, taking some big risks here as the underdog. Scouted this pond, didn't see a dock, and is now wandering through here. I think trying to get to the other pond, right? And you can tell the scout's looking like, where did he dock? Where did he dock? Where did he dock? He's just walking right through. So really not the best scouting play. Samaro, quite honestly, should have maybe scouted a little bit earlier. But when you're the underdog, you take risks. And like, it's unlikely your opponent is going to be in like, well, actually, it's not true that it's unlikely they'd be in the south. I guess the way to say it is you've got a 33% chance on you getting the right pond. And here goes Samaro. Samaro's going to try. Now, Samaro plays a lot of Black Forest. His quick walling should be pretty decent. But that villager is unlikely going to get a dock down. So Scout goes down there for Dark. Now, Dark hasn't found the enemy either. And Dark is now sending a villager to the north to expand with fish. Dark hoping to wall up here. And then the villager goes underneath the TC for Samaro. And we've got another village. Like, I don't know what on earth is happening here. Why we're taking this path, I don't know. But this guy, he must have received the map from the previous villager. So it's been wild, right? And I think you can kind of see, like, these guys are hoping to qualify to be in the top 16. And you can kind of see, at least with Samaro here, maybe a little bit of the rustiness that players can possibly have when they're, even though they're still really, really good. Now, this is funny, right? Samaro figures, I can't go back to the other side now. So I'm just going to dock here. And I'm not sure Dark noticed that. So Dark thinks I can freely fish here. Now Samaro's coming through with another villager. But look at this. So the scout has been walled in from Samaro. But Dark is placing palisades. I've never seen this in a tourney before. Dark is placing palisades to block the dock foundations because you need 3 tiles of space to drop a dock. Isn't that crazy? Scout went down, by the way. He quick-walled it. Very messy game. Meanwhile, at home, Samaro... I mean, it's just super messy. Like, Samaro forgot to make a house. Like, I've been in this spot before where it's just nerves and you're not all there. Maybe you drank way too much caffeine. I have a habit of doing that. Doesn't help in tournaments, man. It just makes the nerves so much crazier. But anyways, we got a second dock going up for Samaro. That is a positive. Because second fishing ship's out here for Dark. Now, Japanese fishing ships are strong. Dark at least notices what's happening. But now, look. Check this out. Samaro comes to dock. Now, you can't build a dock there because of the shorefish. You can't build a dock here. He doesn't know about that palisade yet. He thinks he can drop a dock there. Can't drop a dock there. This is like players placing palisades to stop from TC drops. He's still going. He's like, man, my opponent's really smart. My opponent's amazing. How am I ever going to beat this guy? What on earth has he done? He can't go this way because it's completely walled. But do you guys see it? Because I do. Yep, right there. Oh, he screwed it up. Dark missed a spot. Meanwhile, we've got quick wall shenanigans over here. And, I mean, this has just been a ridiculous game. No land aggression, really, until now. We've got a scout now from Dark. He's got lots of food, so this makes sense. And that scout's going to definitely kill Samaro's villager unless Samaro quick walls. And, you know, it's not the cleanest opening you've ever seen, but you guys come here for entertainment, right? Now, in the main event, I think Dark actually has, like, solid enough chances to potentially qualify for the main event. I mean, it's going to be tough. But I give him, and it doesn't sound reasonable, but I'm going to give him a 5% chance to qualify for the main event. I know this game might not be the best show of his skills, but he's a really solid player. But anyways, in the main event, when the players make it, they're playing on hearing him, so you don't really know who is who. So if you see this, guys, if you see this little palisade technique in the main event and Dark is qualified, you might be Dark confirmed. Anyways, Dark finds the enemy is walled. Nice shot from Samaro. And Samaro is controlling and is basically going to win this pond. And Samaro is going to control, in theory, this pond. Now, if you look at the resources collected, which I now have in my overlay, Dark has been pretty far ahead there. And Dark had really good eco balance as well. Dark did also, I don't have the market events on, use the market a lot to click up. And this game is going to be ridiculous. I think what you have to prioritize in the next stage here for Dark is you have to prioritize you have to prioritize the water. You do not want to lose this area. So right now, if you wanted to, Dark could delete that palisade. Actually, you don't need to delete your own palisade, excuse me, to hit a villager. That's incorrect. But Samaro ends up in a fairly decent spot on water, which is precisely what we said the Byzantines wanted, right? The Byzantine fires should do more than fine here, but it is still just one dock. And then down here, you love to see it. We've got the scout from Dark to see that the opponent is down here as well. And I like the walls there from Samaro because Samaro knows the opponent has the scout. So things have settled down a little bit. Samaro definitely needs to use the market to balance this economy. This gold, the berries, everything walled out here. This is a pretty brutal opening to the map for Samaro. I think he wants to make a market, but he just remembered he doesn't have a mill. It's been a sloppy game for him. Looks like Samaro did lose the villager over here. But Samaro has this pond, and so Samaro could be fish booming in this pond. It's going to be 2 docks from Dark here in the south. Dark hits the next stage much faster than Samaro. It's not even close. And is going to be making some knights as well out of 2 stables. So really is going to be applying some pressure here. And also is going for a monastery. Remember, Samaro's has some fish over here. Even made a galley earlier to patrol the shoreline. Has the northern pond locked down. So that's a free fish boom. In the south, can remain competitive. But we'll probably end up losing this. Now, Dark doesn't know how much the opponent's committed here, but there's only 1 ship in that dock. So, you know, when you're the Byzantines, you have Town Watch, and you get lots of vision with that. And the players are so crazy close here, and it wasn't actually the vision from Town Watch that helped Samaro, but Samaro is able to see the monastery now with the spearmen. And this is really building up towards a big push here from Dark, but he has to break through the walls. And Samaro's clicked up. Now, Samaro might be really late to Castle Age, but in terms of resources collected, things are looking really good. Downside here for Samaro is Samaro's walls are not going to protect him because these knights are going to break through. And I know what you guys are thinking. Man, this is stressful. Well, just wait. Just wait. Now, the cost of the War Galley upgrade to upgrade the ships is... I might not be perfect with this. I don't think Samaro noticed these knights came through. But it's around 220 food, like 90 gold or something. And that's like similar resources to what Dark had spent on the knights. So as the knights find excellent value, the point is if you don't actually find value with the knights, you may have wished that you upgraded the War Galley upgrade instead. Monk here dies to the town center fire. Walls from Samaro on the outside. He's making lots of spears now. Also re-walls this, so the units cannot escape and new units cannot come through. The knights have no upgrades. Good micro here from Dark. That is actually disgusting micro there from Dark. And wow. And knights will still 1v1 a spear. He's still here, and he's even ramming down the barracks right now. There's a villager repairing the ram. There's a lot happening. But there's 2 stables here. And in a game that is maybe the messiest I brought to the channel in some time, you get cheap camels with the Byzantines. But right now, guys, it's like, this is all Dark, right? You guys can see it. You're not blind. You understand. Dark is just dominating Samaro. And even though this maybe paints Samaro in more negative light, the reality is, this is what was expected, I think. It was expected to be like a 2-0, right? Dark's going to win. Samaro's going to be happy, signed up. Maybe not. I don't know. It's not looking good. So what do players do when it's not looking good? Well, Samaro especially has a history of going for some crazy YOLO plays. Monks. So he's going to drop double monastery here. Now look at this from Dark's position. Dark sees this. And Dark's probably like, what? Now, any other map, this doesn't really work. But when you have the fishing ships bringing in food, it's actually fine. Resources collected. Samaro's only behind by 600 or 700 resources. Obviously, losing the houses isn't going to be good, but still has the back golds here. And Dark has to be careful because if he dives too deep, he runs directly into camels, which are a counter unit, and then there's monks as well. Now, Dark and Samaro both played in Titans League, if you follow tournaments. Samaro wasn't gold. Dark made it to platinum. Actually, did Dark make it to platinum? No, because I'm remembering Dark from gold. Anyways, it was Dark versus FedEx, if you want to search the extras channel, for a game where he made a crap ton of monks. He's really good with it, is kind of my point. And here we go. He's got his own monks here. We see Atonement now. And this is underneath the starting TC from Samaro. Has to clear this up. Now he sent monks into the TC, so the monk still survives. And in the end, he somehow holds here. The population difference comes down to the water. Right? And obviously, there's quite a bit of navy on the water, which isn't being used right now, which affects the army count. Behind this, we have some farms from Dark, but this isn't that pretty. And this guy only has 5 fishing ships compared to the 11. from Samaro. Now, eventually the fishing ships will run out, which is what makes this map so difficult. You need to diversify your eco. But it will be monks, converting monks now for Samaro, as he has the atonement upgrade. He'll finally kill this pesky ram. And Dark can see, knows that those monks are going for his monks, and he backs away now. Pretty crazy stuff, right? Like, neither player really wants to engage against the monks. Neither player making any scouts right now, which could make sense against the monks. This is just going to be a monk battle. And this is immediately where my brain would melt as a player. I am not good with monk control beyond like 2 or 3. Samaro is incredible with it, and a lot of players will control group their entire keyboard surrounding all those monks. Get up to like 10 different groups. But look at the clear up here from Samaro. This is really good. Converts a lot of the monks. Is able to push back the siege, is killing a lot of the siege. This is beautiful. And Samaro, you know, in a best of 3 now, has life again, and there's just eco everywhere that's exposed for Dark. It's crazy. And you could still fish down here. I don't think he's thinking about it, but he could, in theory, queue up like 5, 6, 7 fishing ships there. That's going to bring him thousands of food. Now, if you get Redemption, we're going to have a nice little monk lesson here. If you get Redemption, you cannot convert enemy monasteries. You can convert other buildings. You can't convert castles and monasteries. I think those are the only 2. Now, it would make sense for maybe either player to consider Devotion, which is a new tech, and there it is now. That means you resist some conversion, I think by 15%. But Dark converting some units back. Dark now dropping TC number 2. This game has been messy, and sometimes, you know, I know YouTube comments. I know a lot of you guys have perspective, but sometimes, you know, it's easy for some people to say, how are these top 100 players? Look at the idle TC time for a second. 1 minute for Dark, 35 seconds for Samaro. They are always producing villagers on top of everything else. That is one of the biggest reasons. I mean, there's other aspects, of course, as well. But best players are always still managing their eco. As messy and as disastrous as this looks, really impressed with both of them there. Also, we got fish traps here. So the fishing ships, as they run out of fish, are on fish traps, which will last them a long time. That's also something that's being looked at. So we're going to see a ram here from Samaro to start to push down these buildings. It is a very close game. Right now, it feels like Samaro's got an opportunity and has had an opportunity to really push here. It took a bit of time to get the build-up to consider it. I would like to see if you have the food and the like have upgrade from both of them. I would like that a little bit less from Dark's perspective because he's up against camels, and camels will kill that pretty quickly. I think if the opponent has knights, though, it feels a little bit nicer. I guess if they have spears, that's not so good. Yeah, both players have done a really good job to protect their monks. Let's just be honest. Byzantines have cheaper Imperial Age. Byzantines have cheaper units. Cheap camels, cheap pikes, cheap spears. This is a stage of the game where even if the Byzantines don't collect as many resources, they could still be in a really good position. And, again, I don't know what I'm titling this yet. I haven't spoken to Hardy about it. This will be uploaded on the very day I record it, which is kind of rare. But my friends, there's a resource that they have not been taking very long yet that they're going to take more of, and I think you can see it on the right side of the resource bar, and that is stone. As monks switch sides, these monks are not very devoted. Switching religions back and forth. Maybe they switch sides. I'd prefer to be attacked by a camel, I think, rather than a knight. Maybe that determines what's the reasoning for them switching sides. I don't know, man. I mean, there's just been so many conversions here that the spears, they're hit by the siege, would go down. Dark able to getting close here, might end up taking out the siege. Messy game. And it's going to get messier here because this gold and everything that's here on the front, the gold and stone, so important. But it is Samaro that still maintains the army count. Samaro that has the better of the KD. Samaro that has 2 monasteries while there's still only just 1. Actually, excuse me, it is 2 for Dark. And here we go, people. So Dark says, I need to deny this gold. And Samaro says, I need to castle drop his face over here. So they're just passing. And Dark, he's following rule number 1 of castle drops. Send enough villagers. 40 villagers. 40 of the 76 villagers. As monks are being converted and camels that used to be friends are now foes. 40 villagers are going to build this castle and complete it. So now main gold is gone for Samaro. And Samaro's like, well, I don't like that very much. I'm not going to castle your face. And it's a little risky in some ways, right? Because he doesn't actually see what's over here. But obviously the opponent's going to show army if it's out there. And it's probably would have been in this position. So here's the Scout Edition to help with some of the monks. But same thing here from Samaro. He sent enough. And this castle's going to go up. We've got a ram going to this castle. I mean, this is just complete and utter chaos now. And Byzantine castles have more HP. So it is way harder to take down a Byzantine castle. So, yeah. This is complete and utter insanity. And Dark is going to continue to drop castles. Now, there used to be a wood line here that was overchopped. You guys probably remember that, right? There used to be trees. Well, that's what Dark remembers. There's no wood line here anymore, Dark. But he's going to drop a castle anyways. Monks, villagers, everything just running to the opponent's base. And now here comes Samaro. And Samaro is... Hold on a second. Did he steal these farms and delete them? I think... One second. Inspection time. No, okay. I think he was going to steal the farms and delete them, which is a pretty crazy thing to do in these moments. Anyways, Dark just deleted them because he doesn't want any villagers to work there because he knows what's coming. And Samaro doesn't know the TCs are back here. But if he finds out, he will then have a castle on 2 TCs from Dark. This is insane. Meanwhile, Samaro is running down here at the TC, his main TC. I mean, this is a mess. And now he's running. Again, he doesn't know about this. And he is going to find the opponent has eco there. Little risky, but there's cataphracts now. The monks are kind of out of position. Samaro needs to get this up. He needs to get the castle up. Because otherwise, this is a big problem. And where's he going to build it? Well, let's see, folks. Because there's another thing that's important over here. He remembers this place. He is dropping a castle on the docks and the stone. And Dark is going to drop another castle himself. Where are they getting the stone from? I mean, the prices for the stone's not great. Dark did a great job. He converted some of these cataphracts. So he's got a greater chance to deny this castle now. You deny this castle, you probably win the game. But if the castle goes up, it could kill just as many villagers as you have killed here. And not to mention the fishing ships. A tower from Samaro, because he thought maybe something would happen here. Castle goes up for Samaro, who now will try and use a cataphract to kill that monk as his opponent's distracted. Looks like both monks will actually potentially go down. This is a great time to have eco safe on the water. Also, nice teleport there. Thanks, DE. Really hope they fix that before hitting go 5. I've spoken to the devs. Not that that necessarily will change anything. And listen, guys, we're not done because Samaro has enough stone for castle. So where does Samaro even choose? Let's really think about this. In a chaotic game where too much is happening, let's actually think, where should the next castle go? The farming eco for Dark is here. The gold eco for Dark is here. You can't do that. I think you have the castle here. Anyways, we continue. I don't even remember. I do not even remember where this next castle goes. I just know that there's tons of castles in this game. You can understand now why I thought about having the castles in the thumbnail. It's not just castles having gone up. It's the fact that the castles are all at the opponent's base for both of them. It's crazy. But man, Dark has done such a good job, guys. He has 104 eco. He's now converting tons of villagers over here. And, you know, he's actual farms. The farming eco is not really there for Samaro. He's stealing lots of stone. He's stealing lots of gold. And it feels like Samaro just doesn't have enough. Dark's got 13 monks continually getting conversions. And, you know, this castle, it doesn't lead to much more than what we're already seeing here for poor Samaro. Now, he does have a couple cataphracts headed this direction. He is getting some kills. But somehow, I mean... somehow, as he drops a castle here, he's in a worse position than he was moments ago, despite dropping castles all over Dark's starting eco. Because we see a castle. That is the perfect castle for Dark, right between two TCs. What a brutal, brutal position to be in. I mean, the villagers that were over here, they've all switched sides. They're working for the enemy eco now. And these villagers just have to run. Now, on this version of Cross, we've got, like, gold everywhere, right? So, like, gold and stone you could, in theory, find. It's kind of spread out. But man, oh man, this can't be easy. This castle actually could be denied here. We've got monks from Dark converting some of the villagers. There's not many villagers. And now cataphracts are on the way as well. And cataphracts could kill the remaining vills. If this castle is at 87%, that might not go up at all. Look at the mini-map. All the buildings are starting to be rammed down here for Samaro. Samaro, this would be the end of the qualifier for him if he were to lose this game. Probably explain some of the fight. I think the other part of it is you don't think in a normal fashion during these types of games. He probably can't believe that his opponent has double the population right now. Can't wait to look at the conversions. Like I said, like Dark has history of using monks in insane capacity. The thing that's tricky about the guy, and of course a lot of high-level players, is that they can do other things as well. Right? They can play standard as well, which is monks is just another thing in their arsenal. So what is this going to be? Castle number 5 for Dark? I think so. Because Dark has tracked this eco. It sees this TC at least. Also, you see the gold, so you figure that's not going to hurt. This castle's still denied. There's no more villagers for Samaro. Samaro would have to somehow run through the middle of the map to get there. Samaro is bringing cataphracts. I think he expects this. Yeah, he can see it. Especially with Byzantines, it makes sense. So he might be able to deny this one. And he's headed over here to this gold, as we now see redemption for Dark so we can convert the enemy buildings. And the really valuable area to convert would actually be the docks. Because this is the only real food eco for Samaro. This castle will go up. And if you convert this dock, you don't even need to make any navy. It's just, at this point, you know, at that point, sorry, the fishing ships and the fish traps don't have anywhere to take the food. I suppose Samaro would have to redock. Just crazy. Like, the start with all the random villagers, and then the palisade walls to deny a potential dock. And this went from, you know, just like a couple of villagers on stone to everything on stone, everything on gold, monks and castle drops. This game ends with how many castles? We're going to count the foundation. I think, okay, so we've got 8 castles there. And I'm sure there could have been more if they would have settled down and found what stone was left. There was some stone here, and then there was some stone here. Nice find there from Dark. Like, that was insanely high-level stuff, as messy as it was. And, you know, in terms of the qualifier, Dark moves on to the next round. So, fun game. So, yeah, listen, here's the deal, guys. Obviously, main event of Hidden Cup, February 25th through March 3rd. It will be streamed on Twitch and also YouTube. Lots more to come on that. But expect more information about it. I'll have videos on the heroes, introducing the heroes, the players, the format, the maps. Trust me, it'll come. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to stop making entertaining daily videos for you guys too. But, you know, it's just a really good time for us to kind of get in the spirit by watching some qualifier games if they're as crazy and as funny as this. And so expect more to come to the channel every day. If you're really, really, really at that level where you're like, T90, I want more, encourage you guys to check out the Extras channel. Again, not trying to be too promoty here, but I'll be casting a lot of the qualifier, and just full sets are going to be going there to the Extras channel. We'll have that in the description, right? And you can keep an eye on some things there. Here's the res collected in this game. It's wild to me how much gold Dark was able to collect, but I mean, he did take most of that from Samaro's front porch. 10k more res collected from Dark. He had so many villagers in comparison. I think if you look at society, yeah, so total villager count in that game was 157. So that's just a big, big worker differential. And then the max amount of villagers was 131. Samaro ended that game at 60. Total conversions, though, look at the amount of conversions. 51 conversions, a 3.92 conversion and desertion ratio, which is what the D stands for there. I wish I knew how many villagers were converted because we saw here, like, I don't know, 20 vills converted, it looked like, which obviously that's a 40 villager swing right there. That's a pretty big deal if you think about it. So, fun game. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And I think I'll leave it at that today, guys. More content coming every day. More information about Hidden Cup. And hopefully we'll break some records this year. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time. Plenty more to come.